All right, y'all. We're live on the chase and the catch. Man, we have some awesome guests today. It's a follow up from the luncheon that we did about the nonprofit organization. Like we said, we're bringing you the best of the best. You say you always want something that's going to be impactful. You want something that's going to bring you to the next level. Well, look, the chase and the catch got you again. So we're going to bring our guests on. We're going to let them introduce themselves. I don't even want to do them injustice. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, tell them what they do and who they are. We're going to go ahead and bring in the guests.
Go.
We'll start with you. And
All right. How's everybody doing? My name is DeAuntra Sennett. I am a serial entrepreneur and author, and also a professor of business at Tarrant County College. Yeah, so that's a little bit about myself.
All right, Andre McEwing. Good afternoon. Great to be here. The catch and
the chase
the
and
chase and the catch.
chase and the catch.
I'm already catching. So glad to be here, hosted by Five Star Media, Derrick. It's a pleasure for me. My name's Andre McEwing. I'm a Tarrant County College contract administrator, helping folks in business to have contract opportunities with Tarrant County College. Also, a real estate license broker in the state of Texas. So glad to be here.
Man, we're definitely glad to have you. We had the nonprofit and business luncheon about a month ago, and you was able to attend.
Sure.
And man, everybody was excited about what you've done. You also passed out some literature. Can you give us a little example about how that went?
Sure. As I mentioned earlier, I always want to leave some information, an asset definitely for new entrepreneurs who are trying to reach that next level of success. And so I thought as you had given me an agenda that the opportunity was to bring some information. I had met Mr. Sennett, and always, as a son of two teachers, it's always about education. And so I thought it'd be good to have the books available and make an investment in both Mr. Sennett as well as the attendees of the luncheon. And so we were able to provide them a snapshot, a brief snapshot of a business plan, what that is, and for them really to go back and read and understand so they can be successful. Their summary, the executive summary, their marketing plan, their financials, all those dynamics that go into being a good business owner. So, because we don't want a business owner shouldn't want to be a F business owner, but be a triple A.
Right.
So with this book, the one-page business plan, I had read it, I use it, and I've done many business plans, and so I felt it important to create and empower and invest in folks that I didn't even know.
Right. And
In
that
the
was
room.
and that was great. A lot of
Yeah.
people called me back and they were just like they
Yeah.
really enjoyed it, and they never really had anyone to invest in them in that magnitude
Right.
that they didn't
Right.
know.
Right.
And so that was
Right.
that was definitely good.
Right, and that for me, that's the collective theme that I always keep: collective and collaboration,
Hmm.
being indifferent of the person,
Right.
but being optimistic about their goal. Because I don't pass judgment on anybody that wants to go into business. We live in a capitalistic system,
Right.
and I believe we need to have all the resources and all the tools to be successful. And those of us who've been through, my previous career, I've worked for Lockheed Martin, used to sell airplanes to the government. I worked for Pepsi Cola, Waste Management, Nabisco. So I ran $100,000 teams of people being successful in what they do as salespeople.
Hmm.
So I bring all that back to give back. And when I meet a brother like Mr. Sennett, I just intuitively and instinctively, with the spirit in mind, I can feel where they are, where they've been. He told you he's a serial entrepreneur,
A serial entrepreneur.
a young brother,
Yeah.
and so, as he just asked me here a few minutes ago, how do you connect? For me, it's organic.
Hmm.
I don't. It's not hard because I have the tools and all of the skill sets to understand who really is serious about being in business. And so this brother here, I've invested, and I'm gonna continue to invest in him. Without he doesn't need to know. I don't need any payback.
Yeah.
The payback is when they come in September to the phase two.
Right.
That's gonna be the payback.
That's the payback.
That's the payback.
And yeah, while we talking about that, since that's going to be on September the 24th, we invited you to be a speaker of that. Now, everyone that did purchase, well, not purchase your book. I'm so used to talking about purchase that you received your book. Somebody that gave you a book. Make sure on September
Yep.
the 24th you bring your book with you. So therefore, we can go over everything that's in the book as well. And so, because you did pass out the book, uh, we decided to make him as one of the speakers. So give us a little bit of your background and how did you get started in the industry?
Well, a little bit about myself. So I'm born and raised in Fort Worth, Texas.
That was another reason.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Oh, that's
So
good.
so
I'm from Fort Worth too.
Humble.
yeah,
Right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
right,
that's
right,
cool,
So
man.
right.
my dad, he was actually a preacher. We went to Forest Hill Community Bible Church, and he was also a janitor at the high school where me and my brothers graduated from. We all graduated from Eastern Hills High School.
Okay.
My mom a daycare.
Unfortunately, you didn't go to Dumbo, but that's okay.
Look, my mama graduated from Dunbar, though, right,
Yeah,
right.
okay.
But my mom, she was a daycare school teacher, right? And I give y'all that background to have you understand having a relationship with God, a
Mhm.
work ethic, a strong work ethic, and um, education were like the three pillars we were raised on, right? And so that was my foundation here in Fort Worth.
Mhm.
I graduated from Easton Hills back. What was that? Back in 2000. Graduated top of my class and went to U of H. I went there for about 4 years. I didn't graduate. Why? Because I was having a lot of fun. I was having a lot of fun. I moved
Understandable.
back to Fort Worth in 2005. I had my first daughter. Right, I had my first daughter. I hadn't graduated from school. I had moved back. I graduated top 10% of my class. Voted most likely to succeed. And I'm like, well, what am I doing with my life now? I don't have a job. Just had a baby. Didn't graduate from college. What am I gonna do with my life? And so right then is when I made a decision. I need to do something different. And so I started a different trajectory. I went and got a job just to pay the bills. In the meantime, I ended up having two more daughters. I have three daughters.
Okay.
Ended up going to UT in Arlington. Right. Ended up going there. Graduated with honors with my bachelor's in business administration, and this was in 2009. And then from there, I said, you know what? What's the next step? So I got into education for a while. I started to teach. I taught GED to 17 to 70-year-olds in English and Spanish. So I
Mhm.
learned Spanish as well.
Okay.
Right. So I did that for the first 4 or 5 years early in my career, and it was one of the most enriching experiences I had in my life. And the reason for that is because having all these people from these diverse backgrounds allowed me to learn how to connect with very different people who weren't necessarily motivated to be in the room that they were in
Right.
to learn the material that I had to teach them. So fast forward past that, since I've been young, I wanted to start my own business. So I said, you know what? Graduated with my bachelor's degree. I need to go back to school. I want to get my master's degree. In the meantime, I was working in corporate America, right? And
Mhm.
so I had started off as a supervisor, and I worked my way up all the way to the global head of transport for a multi-billion-dollar company called RS Components, right? It's located headquartered in London, UK. So I moved there for a couple years. I worked over there. And then this was actually during the pandemic in 2019, right?
Oh,
So I moved in 2019, global pandemic, March 2020, big, huge deal. And so I was on contract to stay there for 5 years. After 2 years, they come to you, they ask you a question. Hey, do you want to stay? Do you want to go? Do you want to take on another assignment? Ultimately, I decided to come back. My girls were getting older. They were getting ready to go into high school. And I wanted to see them through from high school to college because I know what that transition was like for me. And
yes.
so coming back home, I needed to make sure they did that successfully. So ultimately, I decided to come back home. But before I left in 2019, I came back in 2022. In 2019, I had started my first company. It was Bellworth Global Investments, and so that was my very first company that I'm still running currently. And it was something I put on hold because I didn't actually expect to go and live and work abroad. My
Mhm.
plan, working for the company that I was working for, was save up my money and start my own business. That was the business that I started. But
Mhm.
then I had that wonderful opportunity, and so I pursued that. Then I came back and I restarted the business,
Okay.
right? So I'm still working full time. Still, I got my master's degree in that time as well. Working full time, raising my girls, running my business, right? And then I said, what's next? What's next? What is it next that I want to do? And so I thought about writing a book. And the reason why I thought about writing a book is because I had started other businesses in the past, and my family, my friends,
Mhm.
my people who were close to me were like, "Well, how are you doing this so systemically?"
Right.
And I was like, "Well, I have a process, and it's in my head." But I was like, "Well, you know what? Let me write this down. Let me write this down." And so that's how the book was born. I
Oh.
feel like I'm kind of all over the
Oh
place,
no,
but
no, no, no,
hopefully
no. That's
y'all get
good.
a
No, that's
general
good. We get
understanding
the
of where
we
I'm
get the
going with it.
content of
Yeah.
it. Yeah, definitely. So, what are some of the major lessons that you have learned? I know you've been in business for forever. What is one of the major lessons that you have learned in business that you could advise some of the people, and even some of the advice that you want to give them when they come to the event?
Commitment, consistency, and care. Be committed to your business.
Hmm.
Care about your business. be consistent daily. Being in business is daily. You just heard it. It's
Right.
daily.
It's daily. Yeah.
It's not no take off this day or take a break this day. I mean, I just came back from Portugal, but last month. I'm still thinking about business, real estate. You know, so it's a training. This helps as a training every day, because it's as we talk about, you know, the memory, you know, and making sure you continue the continuation of it, and that it's a part of your DNA.
Right.
Muscle memory, right?
Yeah.
It's like being an athlete, right? So, I mean, the concepts, and this is the best guide for the concept. It's still called a business plan.
Right.
That name has not changed.
Right.
It's still a business plan, and it's a guide for you. So for me, being when I worked in corporate, when I ran a nonprofit, now at the college, having a brokerage, it's making sure I'm consistent, committed, and care about your business. And that you heard me talk about that last when we were at the big care. It's 24/7.
It is.
I woke up this morning 3:00, you know, thinking about a property we got to take care of or something. But you know, get your resume, have balance, but be committed, consistent, and care about your business. It's your business. It's supposed to be.
Right.
Whether it's an LLC, whether it's a sole proprietorship, a member managed, whatever it is, it's your business. So I think that's for me: consistency, commitment, and care.
Okay. And what about yours as far as going into it, and what can we expect to hear on the 24th? I know people are getting excited. They ready. What can they expect on the 24th? Now that they already prepared themselves, they already read the book. Hopefully, y'all know. If you haven't, go ahead and read it now, and then bring it with you. Once again, bring it with you. What can they expect?
What can they expect on the 24th? Hopefully, to your point, everybody has read the book, but we will go over the book in detail. You know, I will talk about the major components of a one-page business plan. You know, the vision, the mission, the objectives, the strategy, the action plan, your estimated startup costs, your narratives. I've what's the word that I'm looking for? I've filtered it down into those specific sections because a lot of people, you know, when they see a business plan, usually they're 40 to 50 pages. You know, actual business plans that you want to take to a loan officer or to a bank to get a loan, right? But this right here, what we have, this is a starter for 10 for anybody. Even if you've already started a business and you don't have a plan, this will give you a good starting point to understand, okay, now I have it on paper. Where do I want to go next with this? Do I want to complete a full business plan, or is this enough for me to go from idea or concept to actually action?
Right.
So that's what they can hear more, expect to hear.
And I like the concept of the book. When I was looking at it, is because you can always use it as a GPS guide.
Yes.
So I don't care where you're starting from or where you at now. You can always go back.
Yes.
So another question.
Yes.
All right. A lot of people hide from these. What are some of the challenges that you feel that in business that you're going to have to face, and there's no use of running from it? You might as well deal with it up front. What are some of the business challenges?
I think Andre touched on one of them, consistency.
Okay.
You know, because a lot of people, when they don't see immediate success, they get deterred or they get unmotivated. And, you know, even on those days, you still want to get up and do the things that you need to do. Go through your process, right? Because it's going to pay off in the long run. So for me, that's one of the biggest things, people remaining consistent, but also understanding when you have a great idea, it doesn't stop there. You know, once you have a great idea, you need to have a plan. Because I know we've probably all heard the old adage, if you don't have a plan, you're planning to fail.
Right.
Right? And even if you have a plan, things might not go according to your plan, but now you have a benchmark. You can understand, okay, this is where I was aiming for, but this is where I got.
Gotcha.
How do I calibrate that? How do I bridge that gap, right? And so this is something that I looked at as a tool to bridge that gap. Gotcha. Right? How do I go from concept to this actual action? How do I go from this brilliant idea to actually making a difference in someone's lives or in the community?
Yeah. And what I learned about it as well, since you said you did have a faith background, a lot of times spirituality, people will look at hope and they'll have hope as a strategy. And hope is not necessarily a strategy. You got to put a strategy in plan. Excellent. So it's not good just to have that hope. And it says faith without works
is dead.
Is dead. So you got to have a strategy. So what, in your line of business, oh man, the conflicts and the strategies, what are some of the things that you have to deal with? And what can somebody learn and glean from you saying that, man, I done been through this, now I can pour this out?
Yeah. Adaptability.
Okay.
You got to be adaptive. A no is not a no. A no is not failure.
Gotcha.
A no, back to the faith side. I'm a believer. It builds strength.
Yes.
It builds longevity. This is not a sprint. Okay, this is
Yeah.
not a sprint, and I think that's one thing that was just highlighted here was that you got to be in it. Are you in it for the long haul?
Right.
Or you just in it for the minute?
Yeah.
Just a little nickels and dimes and dollars and 20s here. Is that it?
Right.
And so you got to be committed to back to the word commitment, but it's a long haul. You got to be adaptable because things will change. We're in a changing business market right now.
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
That
That
AI is
AI done
messing
changed it.
everything
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
But you have to have a base point.
Gotcha.
If you don't have a basis, then you all over the place.
Right.
Yeah, you're doing your AI, presentations, but you got to speak to what came out of AI.
Right.
If you don't have knowledge, and don't have a strategy, everything that just was mentioned, then you're gonna get embarrassed.
Right.
And the worst thing is to be in front of folks you're pitching or trying to get a new deal, trying to get some as a nonprofit some money from a you heard me talk about the philanthropic community.
Right.
You gotta know your business.
Yeah, you do.
You gotta speak to it. You gotta have some deliverables.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have some results, right? This ain't it's being in business is not a game. You play in a game, but it's not a game.
Right.
So I think having been again, as I look back on my career and transition to another career, being adaptable,
Adaptable.
keep your head on a swivel,
Gotcha.
build relation. And people heard me say this at this Black Chamber. I've been a part of the Fort Metropolitan Black Chamber for over 25 plus years. Build trusted relationships within whatever you're doing. Build relationships that you can call on. Because I can call on some folks,
Right.
okay,
Yeah.
and get some things done and help other people.
That's good.
So adaptability, flexibility, no is not failure, and now have faith. Substance of things hoped for, evidence of things not seen. Have vision.
Mm-hmm.
Where you want to go? Where you going?
Mm-hmm.
But you got to have a base point.
Base point.
You got to
Gotcha.
have a base point.
What is your underlying why?
At this point in my life, my why is to leave a legacy for the next generation. I do not want. I hurt when I see young people get embarrassed because they don't look eyeball to eyeball.
Mm-hmm.
They can't communicate well because they're embarrassed. So my why is to invest as much as I can in the next generation, in any way I can, financially, personally, as an entrepreneur, in any way I can. The next generation that looks like me.
Gotcha.
That looks like me.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've been around a lot of different folks,
Right.
but I want to invest in me. And I'm not saying just because they're underserved or they may be on free and reduced lunch, their value.
Right.
There's value there that we've got to invest in. So that's my why every day.
Okay. What is your underlying why?
My underlying why, I want to see our communities empowered. And for our communities to be empowered, we need to have economic mobility. One of the ways that we have economic mobility is by creating our own and hiring ourselves, right? This is how we build our communities. And so I remember when I was living and working abroad, one of the reasons why I was allowed to do that, one of the reasons why they wanted me to come over there and do that was because they saw me as a resource, right?
Mm-hmm.
They see me as someone who could add to society, right? Who could do some things that other people couldn't do, who had certain skills, experiences, education that other people didn't possess. And so now he can come and add value. So I thought about that. I really thought about that. And I was like, well, how can I add value to people who look like me? Right? In the time that we live in, right? To make a really lasting, impactful change, right? And one of the things that I know have made a lasting, impactful change on me is education, specifically through reading. And that's what my underlying why. I want people to have that same type of transformative experience when they read not just this book, but when they read anything that edifies them and allows them to grow and empowers them in an economic way so that we can continue to build our community. So for me, and then also, I mentioned my parents before. I remember them growing up. They lived paycheck to paycheck. And I remember thinking to myself, I don't want to live like that. And that's not me bashing my parents.
Right.
That's me understanding their economic situation. And they could have changed that had it not been for the lack of education or the lack of knowledge or the lack of accessibility to business education. And so, yeah, I saw a real need for it, and I genuinely want to see our communities empowered. And so this is just my small contribution to paying that forward.
Man, well, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Y'all
And
got me.
Derrick, let me say this.
Okay.
That why too can happen at 2401 Scott Avenue
Yes, sir.
in South Fort Worth, coming from brothers from Fort Worth
Mm-hmm.
who went to Fourth ISD public schools.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That can happen in Fort Worth, Texas. I think the why is to lift that stigma off of Fort Worth.
Yeah.
That we can here in Fort Worth,
Because it is a stigma on
that
it.
we can here in Fort Worth, Texas, be successful.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We can make money. We can ball out.
Mm-hmm.
We can drive cars like
Mhm.
we want. We can live in the homes in Fort Worth, Texas. So that's another why for me on a personal note that this can happen in Fort Worth, Texas. So that the young brothers and sisters, the youngsters, again, the next generation coming out of Stop 6,
Mm-hmm.
coming out of Forest Hill, South Side, they can be successful and come back to reinvest back into that community.
Right.
That's the opportunity.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. Well, we're not gonna hold y'all too long,
Hey,
but
man.
I'm enjoying it. Y'all got me excited. I'm ready for the 24th myself. I'm ready for another session. But I thank y'all. So just go ahead and just let them know about the event again, once again, and then just tell them, just invite
Yeah,
invite
most
them out.
definitely. Most definitely. Thank you, Derrick. 5-Star Media
Yes, sir.
for hosting, having this podcast, making the investment here at 2401 Scott Avenue, owned and operated by Alvin Brown with Gideon Toll Management Services and Airport Field Services. And the opportunity to be here with Arthur Sennett, I'm going to continue to invest in this brother because, as he said, he's had experiences, good, bad, or indifferent. And now he's very successful. So for me, on the 24th
24th
of September,
September
I'll be in the
24th.
house.
Okay.
I'll be here. Bring your book. If you didn't get a book the first time, you can get a book the second time if you're here as a new attendee. But look forward to the opportunity to have that event and to hear some lunch and learning and listen to Mr. Sennett do his thing.
Yeah, and I'm excited about it. Even here, I have an office here now, 2401 Scotch, and I love the camaraderie. We all come together, we network together, and I know it's like a cliche that your network is your net worth,
That's
but
true.
that's why.
But
Yeah, that's why I'm networking. Y'all see who I'm networking with now. So I'm bringing up my network, But go ahead and invite your people out. Let them know once again how they can contact you if they want to contact you. You can also, real quick, I don't want to forget about my partners in crime, Tina James, also from Safe in the Six, and the Sisterhood Foundation, Amber Morgan. They're part of this as well. So go ahead and invite you.
Okay, so everybody, please come out. I'll be speaking to my book, The Beginner's Guide to Creating a One-Page Business Plan. And you can reach me at my email address is dlsennett15@gmail.com. Also, you can find this book. It's available on Amazon. You can type in my name. Again, it's on the front of here, DeAuntra Sennett. Or, you can reach out to me via email. And also, I want to say thank you for having me. Thank you, Andre, for reaching out. I appreciate this opportunity. And also, I love what y'all are doing here. This is amazing.
Appreciate it, man. This is what it's about. So y'all heard it first on the Chase and the Catch. Don't forget, September the 24th. You can see it on the screen right here. Make sure you come out once again. Thank y'all.
appreciate it.
Man, have
Thank
a
you.
great day.
All right.
You too. Thank you.